I'm at Paris, Las Vegas, and I was thinking that this Vegas content in general is getting a little saturated. What can I do to kind of switch things up? You know, a lot of people are saying that Vegas is crazy expensive and the dollar is worthless. And to those people, I would say I absolutely agree. However, I still do think that you can have the best time ever in Las Vegas on a budget. And in this video, I'm gonna prove that. So this is my $1,000 Las Vegas challenge. I have $1,000 to spend in total over the course of 3 nights. I have to stay at one Vegas hotel. I can't bring any food or drinks from home. Everything I buy has to be within this hotel stay. I have to go to at least one nice place for dinner, and I have to pay the current going rate for the hotel room. No comps, that'd be way too easy. This is the Burgundy room here at Paris. It's the absolute cheapest room available on property, and I am flabbergasted what I paid for this room. I am shocked. I don't even have any status with Caesars. I just booked directly online. You are not going to believe what I paid for this room. I'm going to talk about that later in the video because I have some thoughts to share on the room as well. What I do want to mention very quickly is what it cost me to get into the room. I arrived on property around noon, and the early check-in fee was $50. That's really unfortunate because that's 5% of my budget gone right away. But I'm not even thinking about that right now, and that's because I'm so excited for dinner. I'm almost embarrassed it's taken me so long to get to this upcoming restaurant. I fell in love with its original location over at Caesars, and I talked about it for a year straight. Apparently the location here at Paris is even better. If you know me and you know the channel, you know I'm talking about Vanderpump. Sequels rarely do better than the original. I had an incredible experience at Vanderpump Caesars. How is this location going to be different? How could it possibly improve upon the already amazing original location? Instantly as I entered, those questions were answered, as Vanderpump Paris is a legitimate restaurant, whereas the Caesars location is more of a lounge. The restaurant theme is a stormy day in Paris, with decor influences ranging from steampunk to French royalty. I found this alternative and dark concept to ironically be a breath of fresh air in the overly crowded and often repetitive Las Vegas restaurant scene. Drink number 1, pardon my French, they call this a touch of madness for 2. This oversized and complex cocktail is ultimately plumbed with smoke and then elegantly sits tableside to be enjoyed at leisure. Dish number 1, crudité, something that has never been on the channel before. This giant and nearly impossible to finish array of vegetables is served on an absurdly heavy 25-pound stone platter. Drink number 2, the Flora Bora Bora. This was the cheapest yet most delicious drink of the evening. It was an authentic taste of the islands in the middle of a Las Vegas winter. I was somewhat embarrassed and a little emasculated after ordering drink number 3, the Bon Ami Versailles, aka It's My Effing Birthday. This is the number 1 most popular drink on the menu, but I can't see why because it's pretty much all presentation. The best part was actually the in-house made birthday cake macaron. Originally from Wisconsin, if there's one thing I love, it's a spectacle of cheese. This lavish assortment of cheeses was presented inside a birdcage, and it was nicely complemented with fruits, nuts, breads, and my favorite, the personal pot of honey. And as if things could not get any more indulgent, I opted for liquid dessert, the Café Beignet. I'm not sure what had more calories, what was inside the drink, or what was on top of it. So things got a little out of hand last night at Vanderpump. That place is Disneyland for food and drinks. It's a little bit of fantasy and a little bit of fun and a refined place with awesome food and cocktails. Everything in there is unique, creative, delicious, and a little otherworldly. I definitely went over budget, but I think that's realistic. I think that you would too if you were staying at Paris and you decided to go to Vanderpump on your first night. Last night after dinner, I went back to my room and I got a water at the market. It was $9. They used to be $8, now they're $9. Pretty soon they're going to be $10, $11, $12. My number 1 goal today is to go to CVS and stock up on a few things. I think that's only smart. And then tonight for dinner, I'm going to a brand new restaurant here at Paris. I'm actually pretty excited. It is opened and managed by one of the biggest gangsters in United States history. I make it a point to visit a CVS or Walgreens once per hotel stay. Even the locations on the Las Vegas Strip provide notable savings versus hotel stores. Usually I would load up a basket of foolishness and nonsense, but this trip is different, so I need to switch up my game plan. These sandwiches are usually my go-to for snacking and would look amazing inside my Paris mini fridge, but every dollar and calorie counts. So ultimately, I went for a more conservative approach. So there is a CVS right outside the Paris lobby. It's so convenient. The waters there are $3, so they are a third of the price of what they are here. 4 waters, 4 snacks. That should tide me over for the next couple days. $33. And then today I had a really fun and carefree day. Emphasize free. So I walked up and down the Vegas Strip. I always like to do that once per hotel stay. Not only is it excellent exercise, it allows me to keep my pulse on the Vegas action. I'm always finding something new when I do that. And then in addition to that, I walked around Paris and pretty much got reacquainted with this property. This property has changed tremendously over the last 18 months, which is when I was last here. If you haven't been to Paris in the last couple of years, come check it out. This place is almost a different property. One reason for that is the restaurants. There are a lot of new awesome restaurant concepts. I'm off to another one right now. It's by one of the biggest gangsters in America's history, one of my heroes. I'm off to Bedford by Martha Stewart. I was excited to go to Martha Stewart's new restaurant, though I would describe my excitement as one of interest and curiosity. Despite Martha's massive popularity, I cannot recall a single instance where I have tried one of her food or recipes. The style of her Bedford restaurant was upscale and modern, the layout was open and spacious, and the atmosphere was both lively and relaxing. So let's get down to business. I need to severely reduce my spending on this meal. That all starts with adult beverages. There surely will not be any $30 or $40 drinks at this dinner, so I turn to old reliable Golden Nectar. The bottles list at Bedford was surprisingly attractive with some great options. I chose the most expensive one, a Japanese lager for $13. It was decent, and I was quickly reminded that compared to drinks, even the highest priced beers are a bargain in Las Vegas. The first dish is one of my favorites of all time, but I rarely see it on a menu, probably because they are so regional and niche. A lot of people outside the Midwest just are not familiar with pierogies. Pierogies have some elements of ravioli and dumplings. They are basically potato-filled delights sent from the heavens above. Martha's were indeed delicious, but for $30, I was expecting the portions to be larger and the plate to be more filling. I was told that Martha had a special way of making her burgers, but I did not expect this. It was a square setup, which is a sin in some burger communities. The buns were giant pieces of Texas toast, which I knew would be filling, but they were bigger than the burger itself. With that much bread, I immediately lost all enthusiasm. But it is what it is. It did look kind of cool, and plus I rarely turn down any piece of food. I ultimately tried it. I'm glad I did. It was unexpectedly awesome, and more importantly, completely filling. So Bedford by Martha Stewart was amazing. I walked in expecting not to like it and walked out absolutely loving it. If there's one thing Martha knows, it's food. Martha is a gangster in the kitchen. Martha's a gangster, period, but Martha definitely knows her food. So it makes sense why it was so awesome. The food is some of the best I've had in Las Vegas. It was creative and unique and delicious and fresh, really high quality. The concept is super cool because it's modeled after her home in Bedford. This kitchen, this dining room is like her kitchen and her dining room. It was a fantastic experience, and like I said, I can't wait to go back. After dinner, I just walked across the street and watched the Bellagio fountains for a little while. They are synchronized with the Eiffel Tower here. They go off in tandem. It's a really great place to unwind, relax, take in Vegas, and just an awesome place to spend some free time. Emphasize free. So my strategy up to this point has been big, budget, big. My first day, I wanted to go big. I just got here. I wanted to have an awesome first impression. And then on my second day, I wanted to rein it in a little bit because I knew I had a budget. So I got really creative with some free stuff. And then now I'm on my last day, and you always want to leave Vegas on your best stride. So I want to have my biggest and best day today. It all starts with brunch at Alexxas. I'm not sure what I'm going to do this afternoon, but then tonight, I'm going to finish with dinner at the #1 place here at Paris. So it turns out I've eaten at Alexxas before, back when it was Hex. They just changed the name. Apparently Paris made them do that because they were superstitious, and I can't blame them. Who wants to eat at a Vegas place called Hex? Anyway, it's very straightforward. What you see is what you get. The standout is the location. It's one of the few Vegas restaurants where you can eat strip side for a reasonable price. On my last day, I had 3 objectives for my afternoon activity: fun, frugal, fresh. Fun is always objective #1. That's why I travel, and specifically travel to Las Vegas. Fresh is something new, and it doesn't have to be brand new to Vegas, but either new to me or new to the channel. I always want to create and share new experiences. And then frugal. This is a budget challenge, and I need to be mindful that I have dinner at the #1 Paris restaurant tonight. Beer Park was exactly what I was looking for. Firstly, any rooftop, sky, terrace bar immediately has my complete attention. There's just something special about being social and having fun in an elevated environment. And then secondly, Beer Park was awesome, surprisingly awesome. Here's what surprised me about it. It was much larger than what I thought it would be. It wasn't just a terrace, but a complete indoor-outdoor venue. It was also really cool. It had a modern retro vibe with old school arcade games, a myriad of TVs and stylish lighting. And lastly, and most surprising, everybody was outside, even during the winter, which just proves that people love to be outdoors in Las Vegas. So I'm here in December. It's like 40 degrees out. I'm here during the middle of the week, and I was at Beer Park at 2 p.m., which is a very awkward time to kind of be out in Las Vegas, especially for food. There were a decent amount of people at Beer Park. I couldn't imagine what the place is like in the summer. It has a lot of things that I like. First of all, it's elevated. It just overlooks the strip, so there's a lot of great energy. Direct views into the Bellagio fountains. For a casual place like that, I thought the menu had a little bit of creativity, an awesome suds list, and the place was reasonably priced. I think if you're all about having the best time ever in Las Vegas on a budget, it probably doesn't get any better than Beer Park. So it's my last night here. I want to go out with a bang. I'm going to head down to the #1 place here at Paris to eat at. This place is a religion. Of course, I'm talking about Mon Ami Gabi. If you've never been to Paris, Las Vegas, it might be hard to believe Mon Ami Gabi is the most popular fine dining establishment. Paris has one of the best upscale restaurant lineups in Las Vegas, with legends such as Eiffel Tower Restaurant and Gordon Ramsay Steak, and hot newcomers such as Vanderpump and Martha Stewart's Bedford. Still, year after year, Mon Ami Gabi is the most chosen and beloved restaurant at Paris. There's just something about it. It has that X factor, as they say in French, that je ne sais quoi. It's a double rarity. It's an authentic French bistro experience, and it's one of the very few restaurants literally on the Las Vegas Strip. The Gabi sugar cookie was my only drink of the night, mostly because it was a meal within itself. I'll be working off these calories well into the summer. Well worth it though. It was one of my favorite drinks of the year. It has everything I look for in a drink: creativity, presentation, mixology, deliciousness, and memorability. And for my meal, I pulled the old double entree move. This was a trick I used to pull back in my product management days. Suppliers, vendors would visit, take me out, wine and dine me, and I would run up their expense account like any veteran product manager would. I would do an entree as an app, an entree for the main course, and sometimes even an entree for dessert. These days, I am 40 pounds lighter and also the one paying the bill, so it's no longer a trick, it's just gluttony. I do resort to it on occasion though, and this felt like the perfect time. You haven't officially experienced Paris unless you've eaten at Mon Ami Gabi. The place is an institution here. It is the #1 restaurant at Paris for a reason. Every time I think it's going to be predictable, they switch up the menu. Every time I think it's going to be lackluster, the service is overly impressive. And every time I think it's going to be boring, the energy from the strip just keeps you engaged. I've been there over a handful of times, but I've never had their 2 signature dishes. I ordered one as an appetizer and one as an entree. Both were amazing, but the steak was absolutely the best. This morning I woke up and I went down to Cafe Americano, another institution here at Paris. The cool thing about Cafe Americano is that it is open 24 hours a day. You can go eat there at any time. Now, unfortunately, I did not have the time to sit down and eat, but another cool thing is that they have a window open for coffees and sandwiches. I ordered 4 sandwiches and 1 coffee. That should get me through the morning. I think the total was around $56. So at this point, you're probably thinking I'm way over budget, but just wait until you hear what I paid for this room. The rates were unbelievable. Now again, I have 0 status with Caesars. I just have their base status, the one you get for signing up for an account. I got this room for $19 a night. $19 a night. That's it. During the week in December. December is very well known as one of the best times to visit Las Vegas on a budget or for getting a value in Las Vegas, and I could not disagree. $19 a night is a complete steal. I think this room, even though it is showing a little bit of age, is worth it. Anything under the $100 range. Over $100 a night, I'd probably look elsewhere, but under $100 a night, given this hotel's supreme location, I think is a very reasonable price. I do want to emphasize I stayed here during the week, which is another reason the room rates were so cheap. I do have to add taxes on top of the room rates. Those were an additional $26. And of course, I cannot forget about the resort fee. With taxes, the resort fee was $46 a day, amassing a total of $138. So overall, trip total, I just came in over $900. I almost got it under $900, but I bought this water at the end of my stay. I ran out of my CVS items, so this is gonna put me over $900. But overall, I mean, given my budget, I think it was a great Vegas trip. Looking back, I did so much. I had a crazy night at Vanderpump's. I ate at Martha Stewart's new restaurant. I walked up and down the strip. I watched the fountains and the Eiffel Tower. I had a fun brunch. I had an awesome time at Beer Park, and I ate at the #1 restaurant on site and ordered both of the signature dishes. It was definitely an awesome trip, and now that I think about it, it was probably my greatest Paris trip of all time.